better. There you
All
go.
right. How's everything going, man?
Pretty good.
Good deal, buddy.
Good.
It's pretty crazy to think that we can sit here and have this conversation now, and just like the shit that's happened for me to be able to know who you are and all that kind of crazy shit. I'm thinking on that. It's freaking ridiculous, man.
Right, it's been a long way. You already know where I'm coming from. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. The reason actually, I don't know if you know how I even know you, but I'm from Texas and shit, and I had some family up there in New York, and I actually moved up there to go and just try something different because I felt like I needed to do something for myself. So I went up there, and that's how I ended up knowing who you are and finding out about who you are, because right there in the 315, like Shane said. So, I mean, I knew where that came from, and I saw you work your ass off and get out, man, and that means a lot to me. And that's something really special and made a big difference in my life. So I'd like to be able to do it in somebody else's.
Hell yeah,
bro. For sure. So
tell me about a little bit about your plans. I see you've been writing all these pre-talks.
What was that?
Oh, how you want to impact, like your goals, pretty much. I've seen you've been writing it out, and you've been
right.
Like taking actions instead of just, you know what I mean, saying like,
right.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Not doing it. You know, I see you like you got set up, you got everything out. You know what I mean? You're doing it. You're on your way.
Yeah, I've been putting it off for the longest time. So now it's definitely the time for me to step up and actually make shit happen, because I've wanted it forever and just never actually done it. So it's gonna be pretty important to actually make it happen now.
Oh yeah. Action. I feel like action is everything. A lot of these people, you know how many people I know that have started something?
Right. You just don't finish. I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah, they're still starting something. I don't know. I don't know what they're starting, but I haven't seen action. That's the biggest thing. But I see you're taking the necessary action. So like, I've seen you've been learning as well about like all this like energy, law of attraction.
Of course.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You use it right every day.
Right. Yeah. Of course. It's definitely that's definitely the way I've always wanted to live my life. But to be completely honest with you, when I was in high school, man, like I've always grown up in like really popular or like urban areas where it's always, I feel like my image to me was way more important in high school than it should have been. And so I was more concerned with myself, and I didn't notice a lot of the shit that was going on around me and a lot of the problems that were going on in everyday life around me. And since I've gotten the time to step back and get away from the shit that I grew up around and all these negative thoughts and people that don't really want to achieve anything and people that kind of blindly follow, and it's not their own fault, because it wasn't my fault in the time, because I didn't have the ability to go out and change my own life. But whenever I did finally acquire the ability to, I went out and made it happen. And so to me, that's something that it gave me a perspective on life that most people don't have the ability to gain from such an early age. And being 19 and having lived in multiple states by myself and doing some crazy stuff like that, I have developed a pretty wide variety of opinions on life, and I've had a lot of outside influence, and I want to use outside influence in the right way and make a difference on somebody else's life with that, instead of only using it to try and make myself better. Because everybody in life kind of takes this perspective on things where you only get your one life, right? Drake said YOLO, and people, I think they take that a little bit wrong. And whenever I hear YOLO, I'm thinking, okay, if I only have one life, what can I do in that one life to affect forever? Like I want to affect everything that I can in the short time that I have here. So I want to be able to provide somebody else with something that maybe is a situation that they would look at uncertainly, or something that they can't view with a perspective, and somebody's maybe not willing to give them a perspective that they need. I'm the type of person, I'm guilty of it. I used to fucking sit online sometimes and just Google search ways to make money. How do I make money? And everybody online, the thing that people are doing, like that video that you pointed out to me, the thing that people are doing online is I was a salesman at one point. This is why I can see it this way. I was a salesman. I sold cars and everything. I took advantage of people, and I did that, and that was fine with me. I was making my own money, and I felt good doing it. And that's kind of a messed up thought process. And I definitely had to take a step back and look at everything that way. And people online, they're showing you how to make money, but in reality, they're just using your ad money and using you as a way to make them money. They're telling you basic ideas that aren't going to pertain to you. They're telling you ideas that they're seeing are just going to be ways for them to make money. They don't really care about you being successful in a way. And I care about everybody legitimately being successful in their own ways. I don't want everybody to be a millionaire because that's not really important. Like, I don't have very much money right now. I'm going to be completely honest with you, but I'm cool with that right now. I've never been in a position where I have in the past. I've been in a position where I felt like I had to have a lot, and now I'm kind of just comfortable knowing that I don't have to, and I don't need all of this stuff. And like,
it's
there's
all
just
about
certain
being
things
grateful for what you have, not the things that
yeah,
things that you don't have. You don't have them because it's not the right time. It's not the right place. You're not ready
right.
for it. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So if there's something you wish for and you don't have it currently,
yeah,
you got to be grateful for the position where you're at. I'm not saying don't hustle and go and try to get that thing. You know what I mean? But you still got to be grateful right now and enjoy.
And presenting yourself as being grateful for that is very important too, from what I've noticed. If you can just be positive and like, if you can look at your own situation positively and show that to somebody else, most of those people will look back at you and they want to give you something. Like, if you can just be happy in your own situation, somebody else is going to like look at you and be like, I kind of want to be like that person. Let's figure out what they have to say about something. Or
another important thing.
People are definitely more interested in you for presenting yourself that way.
That we were talking about earlier about people that you learned from or looked up to. The most important thing is figuring out the right people to listen to.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
That's the most important part. Don't just listen to everybody. Not all millionaires are.
Yeah, the most influential people, they're just doing it for them at this point. They don't really have. I mean, I know, I actually have this written down right here. I'm going to kind of read you a little bit off this because this is something I kind of planned out a little bit. Right here, I said, there's one of 7 billion people on this earth. You're going to tell me that you're the only one that matters, which is not really, I don't really think that that's correct, and I don't think that's incorrect. I think everybody matters individually, but together, we could definitely provide each other with an outlook. And like, if we actually did things together, because there's so many problems I see every day. Like, we just legitimately need to do things together and be willing to make a change. And that's like the huge thing, because I mean, if you think about change and like theory and everything, like change respectively, the United States is 200 years old. I mean, humans have been around for tens of thousands of years. Nobody really knows how long, but I mean, the United States and our society, the way it functions right now, is about 200 years old. I mean, this phone sitting in front of me, this phone's only been out for a couple years, if that, and then phones themselves have only been out for 30 years. So this stuff is so new, but we're already finding ourselves getting comfortable with it and learning one way to do it and not branching out and trying to learn and adapt to these things. We're just kind of like letting them in our lives and just staying comfortable. And I think that's what most people do, is they just stay comfortable doing something and they never challenge themselves and they never want to get out and make a difference. And I want to push somebody to get out and want to make a difference, because I know for a fact there's kids. I know one of the smartest kids that I knew in school, man. And he ended up taking his own life in high school. This kid legitimately could have changed the world, but he took his own life in high school because somebody else was looking around at him like, he doesn't have the nicest shoes on. He's not as smart as I am because he doesn't have nice shoes. His parents are poor. But his parents being poor doesn't affect his outlook on life and the way that he wants to live his life and the plans and ideas that he has. Mm-hmm. And so we really need to break people down and like legitimately look at ideas and figure out people's ideas and explore new ways to do life and be accepting to those things. Because in all of history, every civilization that has ever been has failed. Like, none of them have ever like succeeded to an extent. And we're only 200 years old, so why would we think that we're going to be perfect? We're going to mess up. We're going to have some kind of mistakes. As a person, I make mistakes every day. So
I make so many mistakes. This is
exactly.
Retarded.
As a whole, we're going to continue to make mistakes. We're going to continue to make mistakes unless we want to make a change and better ourselves and be better people and legitimately grow and expand our
The only way
horizons.
You're going to make mistakes is if you're thriving for something and then you fall, right? If you're just sitting there comfortable, how are you going to make mistakes? You won't.
Right.
But I'm telling you, if you go out there and you start chasing whatever you're chasing, you're going to fall and slam your face in the ground so many times, you're going to be like, what the fuck, man? Every time you're going to look at your goal, it's going to get further and further. So what do you have to do? You have to get stronger and stronger and learn from your past mistakes Learn from
Absolutely.
your past fails.
Absolutely.
You'll get better at the right place at the right time. That manifestation, your goal, your vision, your all of everything will happen. Dude, like Walt Disney. You know how people used to laugh at that guy so hard and be like, "What are you talking about? You're gonna have like a castle with all these things." You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
There's two of them in this city. Like I
Yeah.
look at him every day. It's like crazy. You know what I mean? He
Right.
made the dream that everybody used to laugh at and say, "You can't do that. There's no way." You know, he figured it out. Same
Right.
Thomas Edison said, "I didn't figure out how to make it. I just figured out how to. I just figured out 1,000 ways that didn't work." You know what I mean? Like he made a light bulb, and the only reason he made the light bulb is because he fucked up 1,000 times trying to make it, and on that one, he succeeded. And now guess what? It's in every. I'm using it right now. I'm using his creation that took so much work. Everybody's work is gonna, you know what I mean? Like people look at everything and like, oh, I'm gonna go get it right now, and then they don't get it tomorrow, month, 2 months, year, 2 years. They quit. They're soft. They get comfortable. I like what you're doing because you're actually getting these people to get up off their ass. You know what I mean? Like I've been trying to do that. But a lot of these people.
It's naiveness. I don't think it's idiocy. And I legitimately believe that. I think it's just naiveness. And people don't understand because we're thrown into a very specific lifestyle choice. Like, not everybody is going to be somebody that's capable of sitting down for 8 hours a day and just absorbing information. That is not how everyone works. So why are we putting everyone in school and requiring everybody to learn a certain way and requiring people to do things a certain way and expecting certain things from people? And I mean, the biggest answer to that is literally so we can just blindly follow what the people that are above us already, we're going to blindly follow what they want us to do. And we're never going to reach out and be successful for ourselves and achieve goals that we want. But we're going to continue to make these people money or make this government money and continue just to provide without any real lead. Like you go to a doctor's office and you tell the doctor, like, you're sad. You can't figure out what to do with yourself.
Right now,
you turn, what's up?
My shit just cut out.
Oh, so you take from, you go from going to a doctor's office and the doctor will sit there and listen to you talk for like 20 minutes and then he's going to prescribe you a prescription and tell you to live your life a certain way. And that doctor has no idea how you've lived your life at any point in time. He doesn't know the things that you need to provide for yourself and the things that want to get better for yourself. He's just going to tell you to take that medicine and he's going to go about it because that medicine is going to numb you and it's going to block your mind to even realizing that you're not fully there. Let's see who's on here.
I had to get my headphones or something.
Oh, you're good, man.
So I can hear you. Because that's, I think, is the only thing, you know?
Hey, something I just saw right here, actually. This guy commented, he said, I've taken shots and I've been screwed over more than I've been helped. Everyone just takes my money. And I kind of look at that as, I mean, yeah, to a point, we all have to work to a point where we're going to be able to achieve our goals. Like there's going to be a certain point, but there's so many ways for you to achieve your goals with no money. And like, there's so many ways for you to get out and do these things. And you don't actually have to have the funding for it. There's people who work for there's people who literally their job is to put money into young people like me or young people like you that have these ideas. And people don't really know that, so they're never going to ask for that help. Even though if you just bring your ideas to somebody, somebody's usually going to be like, that might actually work. Let's see if we can start that, or let's see what we can do with that. And it's more often than not, if you have a good idea, somebody out there is going to accept it. You're just going to have to look for the right person. You're going to have to put yourself out there and want to do these things. And I found that right now, I've been able to take the time to want this bad enough to where I've gotten over my fear of using my phone to record a video. And I'm like, it's not going to be a good video because I'm using my phone, or it's not going to be good quality because I don't sound right, or my voice is weird, or this and that. And I'm kind of over all of that. And I just want to make the video so I can finally maybe have one person change their life, or maybe there's one person that I can even save their life, and that to me is going to make it all worth it. If I can look back and I know that I can legitimately make a difference in somebody's life. And I know.
So another thing.
Go ahead.
You know how like he said that somebody always takes my money, like somebody always is there against what I'm trying to do. You know, like I haven't been helped. So what I say to people like that is one simple thing: you have attracted that into your own experience. The only reason you have that is because you constantly are dwelling on the negativity, and eventually it shows up in your life. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm fucked. Again, and you start tumbling back down exactly where you don't want to be. You get hit again. And you're like, oh, I wish I don't want this to happen. And then boom, it hits you again. And you're like, oh, guess what happened? Guess how I got out of that? Because I used to be in the same position like all these people. You know?
Tell me because that's something that I've noticed people are really looking for is they want a how. They don't want like blah blah. They don't want the outcome. They legitimately want to know how. So maybe if we can like tell our story a little bit, then they'll maybe like they can relate it to theirs somehow, and then it makes sense in a real way instead of just financially. And that's a big thing too. Because if you can make it make sense to somebody on a personal level, then the like financial outcome is outweighed easily. If you can make a sense on like a personal lifestyle, like how you want to live your life outcome. In the top shelf. Sorry.
It's all right.
But tell me some of the mistakes that you made, or some of the stuff that you did to finally drive you to the point to say, fuck it, and I'm gonna change. What made you do some of those things?
So I used to have a job at Indium. It's actually right in Clinton, like in 315. But I used to work there as third shift, and like when I got that job, at first I was like, oh my God, I'm finally, you know, I'm gonna be something, you know, because before that I was working like little wage jobs, McDonald's, all this like fast food, little bullshit, you know. So that was like, I was trying to get into a company, you know, where I can kind of level up. At first, I didn't know nothing about like my possibilities almost, you know what I mean? Like I didn't know I was.
You were still naive.
Yeah, like I wasn't able to think that through my head yet. So when I was starting off, my basic thing was just like, you know, level up in the company, become a manager, get better, get a raise, blah blah blah. So that was the goal. I started working there. I was working there for almost a year. The thing was that hit me every day in the face was that I was working with a guy that was the same nationality as me. We were both Ukrainian, but he was 20 years older than me. He looked like a 60-year-old man. Okay, working the same job I was working, like his back fucked up, everything, you know, like working.
You realize that's not what you wanted for yourself.
Yeah, I was just like, you know, like I see that guy as myself if I don't do anything, you know. So I was just like, well, what can I do? And I started thinking about construction, you know. Well, construction people make more money than that, you know. I was also going to join military and all that stuff until I realized what military was really about, you know.
Were you just worried about making money at that point, like legitimately?
At that point, I was trying to make something out of myself because if I wasn't going to change at that point in time, like I was going to fall. Like like I was getting in way too much trouble around all the people I was around, you know what I mean? Like it was just constant going down, like from one trouble to the other. And before that one's done, I'm already getting fucked by the other, you know what I mean? So like it was just constant running away from different shit, and I couldn't figure out how I was going to get on my feet, you know? And then once I got the job, I was kind of like, yeah, you know, break. I can get my own place. I can do this. I can do that. And I started doing that until I realized, you know, like I'm making all this money and really I don't have any of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm still like breaking even every month trying to feed myself.
Yeah, I get that for sure.
You know what I mean? So like no money, always late.
Is that something that when you say you were making ends meet, were you legitimately only making enough money to live, or were you trying to live within means that you weren't necessarily capable of living within?
Well, then I was like, you know, I was trying to live, you know, period. Like I was trying to have food in my fridge, my rent paid, my bills paid, and then like maybe go out, you know, to a lake or something like on the weekend, you know what I mean? Like do something what regular people do, you know, like every day, every weekend go out and do something little, you know. But it wasn't something like, oh, let's go to New York City and explore, or let's go to Colorado and explore. You know what I mean? It was just little things. Just go to the Adirondacks and hang out and have a barbecue. And once I started once I started really when I started shifting was when it was like when I was getting really tired of working that job, just because people that were around me like didn't get really sense of humor that I had. Like I would write stuff on my headphones, you know, like write something on the back of my uniform like that makes people laugh, and like nobody really liked that, you know. Everybody's just strict, like do this, don't do this. But the thing is, I'm running like this, while everybody else is like sitting on their ass on one machine, you know. And it just kind of got tiring that I was doing so much work and I wasn't getting enough for it. And then one night, I swear to God, it was from one video. One night, I was literally chilling there in my room, like it was like a Saturday, so I didn't have to work that day, you know. And I was just like, after a long day, you know, like thinking, oh, I have work tomorrow at 11 o'clock at night, you know, I can't do anything all day and shit. Like, fuck, man, just open YouTube, you know. I'm scrolling through YouTube and I come across this video. It's called Reaping and Sowing. And I was just like, what the fuck is that, you know? Click on it, I watch it. As soon as I watched that video, like, I literally had, like, you remember how you said, like, you were shaking? Like, that's the type I was literally sitting there, like, are you serious right now? Like, are you serious? And I, like, ran out of my room, started running around my room, telling my roommate, because, like, back then, I was helping this kid to, like, move in with me and shit like that, because he was living with his mom and stuff. I was just like, bro, move in with me, you know, we can bust this, you know. But so I run out, I'm like, yo, bro, like, this is crazy. I showed it to him. He wasn't as amused as I was. I was just like, eyes popping out of my head, you know what I mean? I watched it again and again and again. And I tried to implement it, you know what I mean? I was just like, well, like, what if I try to do it, you know, try to implement it? I started implementing it, and next thing you know what I mean? Like, the job thing just kind of fell off by itself. It wasn't even like, I was kind of like a part of that falling off, but it was just like circumstances that led to me losing that job. And on the same exact day, getting a construction job, just like I was thinking about a couple weeks prior to that, you know what I mean? So it was just kind of like, that was like first step scenario where I was just like, damn, wait, did I really just wish something and then it actually happened? You know what I mean? And I was just like, okay. And I get this construction job. I start working there just to realize that, like, I'm getting fucked on my money. My money is like, we do work for like 3 days and we don't get paid for it at all. You know, it's laid off. My paychecks are bouncing back. You know what I mean? So like, I put 800 in my bank account from 3 days that I've been working. You know what I mean? It's like hard work carrying like frozen shingles up 3 stories, you know, laying them down on the roofs, like some crazy, you know, it wasn't no like little, like we were rebuilding from the ground up. Right. So when back then, like I was literally meeting my ends, you know what I mean? Just like I said, like big game, paying my bills and living, you know what I mean? Just like paying for basic needs of like what anybody needs. And my paycheck started bouncing back. So I pay for my insurance, I pay for my rent, and then I have negative $400 in my bank account. You know what I mean? Instead of having like $200 left in my bank account, I'm like, fuck. What do I do now? You know what I mean? I'm trying to contact my contractor. He's not answering his phone. He's telling me that he's going to pay me, pays me with that paycheck. That also gets spent. That bounces back too, sets me back even further. You know what I mean? And it just like, at first I was like, why is this, you know what I mean? Like, why is this happening to me? How can I get out of this? What can I do to figure this out? And I was hustling too, you know what I mean? Doing what everybody, just trying to get on my feet, you know? And but back there, I realized that that's not something you can really do because it was against, you know what I mean, everybody's perspective. So I was like, well, since like my grandmother died from cancer, and the only thing that killed her wasn't the cancer, it was the chemo. So I like so against all that chemo, cancerous, you know what I mean? Like I'm against like pharmaceuticals. I'm
hugely against big pharma. It is what killed my father, and I mean, I'm the one that I experienced that from such a young age that I am just so terribly against that. But
yeah, I'm against big pharma. I'm against like FDA right now. What FDA is doing is putting all this like crazy stuff that's literally making us sick. You know, they're literally. Everything. they're making us sick so we can spend more.
On making us slaves. They're capitalizing on making us slaves and just blind. Like, you can't do anything. There's no way out either for most people, and that's what we don't realize. But there is a way out, and I think that there's a way that we can build a way out for people, and that's really what we're trying to do, I think.
Exactly.
But, I mean, being that we're in a position that we were able to find a way out, but now you look back on it, and now that you think about it, it probably wasn't as hard to do as it seemed to be, was it?
I swear to God, this is exactly how it happened. I was just like, wait, so this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. I've gotten these goals, you know, that I've written down, and I every day, like, stayed consistent to, you know, like I would wake up every morning and I would look over my goals. I'd read them to myself. I would go to the mirror. I would tell myself, like I am healthy. I am wealthy. You know what I mean? Like, I am beautiful. Like, I am a businessman. Like, telling myself, just, you know what I mean? Telling myself affirmations that at that point of time were my dreams, you know, like there was no such, like I was a worker, I was a slave, you know, but I didn't think of myself that way. I thought of myself as a businessman, as a handsome man, as a healthy, wealthy, you know what I mean? Like everything is good in my life. Everything is going according to my plan until it started to do that. You know what I mean? Like, once it started to go, I was just like, well, shit, this is working. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I was just sitting there like, so I put a date on the calendar that seemed completely impossible. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking going to California in like 2 years, you know, saving them enough money and just hitting it. But I was just like, you know, I'm going to put this date on this calendar. It seems completely fucking impossible, completely out of reach. I don't even know how in hell I would possibly get, you know what I mean? Like, figure all these things out to make it there.
Right.
So I was just, you know, flat band of September, 2 months away. Instead of 2 years, it went to 2 months. So, like, planning shortened by crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I was just sitting there like, how am I going to figure this out? So I was just like, you know, I got this. I'm going to figure it out. Instead of saying how or saying I won't be able to or what if, you know, I just said I will, I can, I got it right now.
Of course.
Typed it into YouTube. How can I make money? All these things started popping up. I clicked this video, this would lead to this video, that would lead to that video. And then, like, after like a couple days, I was like, oh wait, there's such thing as e-commerce. What is that? Yeah. Do a bunch of research, sit on that for a couple days, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, I can open a business without money. I have negative $400 in my bank account. You're telling me that I can open a business. I have negative $400 and you're telling me I need no money. So I was like, yeah, bullshit. Okay, let's try it. You know, I tried it. First time, like, I don't get me wrong, before that I had 3 shops. Didn't work. But I never seen it in a way where I've seen e-commerce. I was like, are you kidding me? I can sell something without physically having it and make profit on it. You know what I mean? Without physically having it. And I was just like, well, damn, okay, all right, let's try this. You know what I mean? Like, I started jumping in, and then I came across this one video. It was literally a Chinese bong from like just one of the like Chinese manufacturers, you know what I mean? And I was just like, okay, what if I make a website? This is actually the first website I ever made, Fashion's Twist. Really? You know what I mean? Like, when I made that, my biggest thing was to changing the way the fashionable way of doing things, you know? So, like, wake up in the morning, eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, you know, like, first of all, breakfast is bad for us. I can go on to that in another video, but just for like a regular, you know, we've been taught to get sick, get fucked up, and not succeed. Yeah. So everybody's not succeeding, getting fucked up and all this thing. So we have to do is change the way we educate people, educate the future, educate. So Fashion's Twist was just kind of like, you know, like changing the way the fashion is done. Instead of this, we're going to fucking twist that shit, we're going to spin that shit, and we're going to set it straight so everybody, like, is happy, you know, everybody can be a part of a community. It's not America, Russia, and all these countries fighting for who's better and who's got bigger nukes. We're all humans. Yeah, that's we're all humans. Thing. Let's better what we got instead of worrying about whose nukes are better. You know what I mean? Right. So, as far as that was the biggest first, you know, start. But the thing about merch is, all these companies that start off merch businesses, they don't become big businesses for like 10, 20 years. So I looked at this as a startup where I can start, you know, but to make a revenue right now, I needed to figure something out, because I know for a fact at that point of time, I wasn't able to sell 1,000 of these in a day or a week, you know, and make my desirable amount because I wasn't big enough, you know. I was striving to be, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? It's not as hard or it's not as easy as people think it is. It's not just like, oh, you wake up one day and then boom, you got 1 million followers and then you're selling all these products and then you're making all this money. That takes fucking so much headaches, so many fails. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways that people aren't taking advantage of stuff like that too, though. And being in a social media age, a lot of the stuff that we're doing, we're forgetting about like genuine connection and a lot of the real relationships and stuff that I made. Every important person that I've ever met in my entire I'll be every, like, I wouldn't say famous person per se, but all of the bigger names and bigger people that I know, I didn't meet them knowing ahead of time that this was going to be. I didn't meet you knowing that you were going to be you were going to have a larger following until now. I didn't know that when I met you, and I approached you as approached it as a very like naive and unbiased situation. And I've done that several times, and each time that I've done that, I remember one of the biggest things that I ever been around has been cars. I've been so interested in cars, and I love cars. And I remember sitting at one of the meets a few years ago, and I just bent down, and somebody was sitting down taking a picture of a beautiful GTR. And I was like, hey, man, that's an awesome picture. Do you mind if I like follow you on Instagram or something so I can keep up with your pictures? Like, that's an awesome picture. And the guy goes, yeah, my Instagram's at Kevin1320video. And I'm like, you work for 1320 Video. Like, that's one of my favorite companies. I can't believe I'm talking to you, and you just were that cool to me about it. And he didn't treat it like you were some famous person or anything like that, because he was just like I am. He was just doing something that he loved, and he was willing to work his ass off to achieve that goal. And then I met him, and he introduced me into the other people, and I ended up meeting Kyle, and Kyle Loftus is the owner of 1320 Video, and Kyle's one of my really good friends now. I could ask him about anything if I needed to. But because we built a relationship on a one-on-one level, unbiased, and didn't think about worrying about other people or worrying about if I didn't know he was this guy. I didn't know anything about them, but I came into the situation just being myself and being happy and wanting to make a connection there. And they ended up really enjoying that. And then that ended up turning into me getting senior pictures that were put up in a magazine, which is freaking crazy. So like, that's awesome. Like, that originated from me just saying something to one person that I didn't even know who he was. And that's exactly. And I want more people to take advantage of situations like those. And people are missing out on them every day. It's huge.
Exactly. So a part of that too, when I moved out first here to California, I didn't know anybody.
Right.
Okay. I was just kind of like slinging a long rope and was like, all right, let's see what's there. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, okay, I have no idea how I'm going to make it. I've never been through any of these roads. I don't know what to do. You know, I just kind of, when we bought a van, like I didn't finish the story completely, but yeah, when we bought the van, that's when shit got, like, I really got real. And it was 2 weeks before my set date on a calendar.
I remember when you moved out there, actually, I believe.
In a week, we were supposed to build the van into a house on the wheels. I was literally sitting there, like, bashing my head against the wall, like, how am I gonna figure this out? Like, I have a van, I have rent due, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here before rent is due and build my van at the same time and figure all this out and get all this stuff out. I was just sitting there like, oh my God, this is really happening, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, fuck, that impossible day is coming and it's here. I was like, holy shit. So within that week, I found a person to build the van for me. Paid all that off, you know what I mean? Like, paid him to build the van into you put like a bed and stuff in there, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so we had a van. We went to the mechanic, check it out before we go, you know what I mean? The mechanic was like, you guys are not making it. Like, you guys are no fucking way you guys are gonna make it. He just looked me straight dead in the eyes and was like, there's no, like, this thing is literally about to fall apart. Like, your undercarriage is so rusted. If you hit a big bump, your struts will go flying, like going crazy on us. I'm like standing there like, bro, what? I was like, are you serious right now? Right. I was like, you're telling me that if I take it down the road, he's like, especially with all the weight that you're putting in, and we're putting all of our stuff in the back of the van, you know what I mean? Like, that's extra weight.
Oh yeah.
He's just like, yeah, there's no way you guys are gonna make it. You know what I mean? I was just like, what? Crazy. So me and my girl looked at each other and were just like, you know what? Like we're gonna still send it. Like we're still gonna go. And worst case scenario, even if we get hit like in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, we still have money to get somewhere. You know, we'll just get
Right.
all of our stuff and just figure it out from there. We're not turning back around. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and you can
So
do that. There's always a way to figure it out too. You can just jump
yeah,
into a situation without knowing, and you can figure it out. I promise. There's always a way out. Nobody's
exactly.
ever
If
gonna
you
let
put
you.
yourself under pressure,
Yeah,
if you put it like it's your last breath, you know what I mean? Like you're about to take your last breath. What are you gonna do?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Are you gonna try to get more breaths, or are
right.
you gonna try to just die out? I'm
And
gonna try to live. You know?
another thing to realize too is there's, like I said, there's 300 million people in the United States. There is not 300 million people on this planet that want to watch you fail. I can guarantee you that. So if you just started talking to people, the worst thing that somebody can do is tell you no. They're not going to hurt you. They're not going to do anything to you. And I was so afraid of that. I was so afraid of being told no, or I was so scared of being told that I can't do something that I was just so scared to do it. And
You know
there's
how?
going to be somebody else that's going to tell you yes. I mean, every kid that has ever had parents that were together, my parents weren't ever together, but mom and stepdad or stepdad or stepmom and dad or whatever, I would have one tell me one answer, but I would go to another one and I'd ask them, I do not mean to flip off the camera just then, but I would go to another one and I'd ask the same question, and the other one would probably say the different answer that I wanted to hear. As a kid, we're willing to make mistakes, and as a kid, we're willing to learn from these things, but when we get older, we get more comfortable and we get used to these things, and we think that we don't have to make mistakes. And now I'm realizing that when I was a kid, man, I was curious. I wanted to meet more people. I wanted to know everything about the world. And I just lost that growing up because I got comfortable and I thought for a while that I knew everything. And I
Yeah.
definitely did not know everything, especially when I was in high school and I was doing all this stupid shit all the time. I thought I knew I was on top of the world. And my mom would tell me all these things like, you're being an idiot. Don't do that. And like, to me, it didn't resonate because she would never like put it, she never connected with me in the aspect of, let me tell you exactly where I fucked up and let me tell you exactly how you can avoid that. And I think that that's more important, that people should be willing to do that. I think we should be more willing to teach others and to learn with others. And I think that others are going to be that's going to be the only way that we can be successful, is if we can use our resources around us indefinitely. And if we have hate doesn't live forever. Hate always has an end. Like, somebody hates something and then it's going to go away eventually. Like it, but love is something that's always going to be around. Positivity is something that's always going to be around. If you can keep moving positively, there's endless expansions. Elon Musk is working on a way to get people to the Mars because he doesn't think we're gonna be able to do it on Earth. He wants people to go to Mars so you can like have a better start. Like, he wants that for humanity, and he's so passionate about it that's what he's gonna work towards forever. And I think that's why he is as important as he is, and that's why he is successful as he is, because he does things to make the world a better place. And not everybody that's up there does that. There's some people that are up there and that are manipulative. And that some of the richest people in the world are some of the worst people in the world, and we don't realize that. We just think that we have to be like them. We don't think of the way that, I mean, if most people that start huge companies, like they usually, there's a slight discrepancy in the way that you started it. Like there usually is. I mean, sometimes it's fucking fully legit all the way through, but that's kind of rare. Like, realistically, like, it's kind of rare if you look at it. I mean, I know for a fact that I've done things that, like, if I told how I did them, I wouldn't have been able to do them. Like, there have been certain things in my life that haven't necessarily been legal that I've done, and I mean, that's not going to say that it's given me everything that I've got, but I mean, everybody started off somewhere doing that or lying about something. Everybody does it. So you can't look at that person as like he's the only one that knows what to do, because he's not. He just figured out a way that worked for him, and he figured out a way to manipulate somebody, or the way that worked for him to make himself a lot of money. And some people are smart enough to realize that, and some people are just too naive to realize that they're smart enough to realize that. And I'm not saying nobody's ever too stupid. And that's the thing, because there's endless ways to absorb information now. So there's no excuse for somebody to be uninformed or unintelligent or stupid about something. Like, you can learn it. You just have to figure out how. You just have to figure out how it's going to work for you and the way to adapt it to yourself. And
people's biggest mistake is thinking they already know everything.
Yeah, and I'm so guilty of that.
That pisses me off.
I was so guilty of that. I was such a selfish little asshole in high school. Like, I was a dick. I didn't have very many friends because I just chose to hang out with certain people that I thought were going to make me look cooler. And I wasn't like finding legitimate relationships in high school. And now I'm finding legitimate relationships within people. And that means a lot more to me now. I'm not worried about this person having like this car or this person having this. I want to be friends with people. I like people in general now. So I don't know. That's just kind of a little bit of where I come from. I've got like you saw earlier. I've got a ton written down, and I'd love to legitimately share everything.
All right.
You still there?
Is it connecting? No.
I'm showing you're there.
All right. Well, I can hear you on the thing now. Is it? How can you hear me better, with the headphones or without?
Put them back up again really fast. Let's see.
I wish I could.
Oh. Are they dead?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you right now at all.
Better now?
That's pretty good, yeah.
Smack. But yeah, dude, we're about to start doing these podcasts. How about we start doing this like all the time, like maybe once a week, twice a week, like just sit down, discuss what's going on. Like,
absolutely.
Because what I've been trying to do is start these podcasts. I actually just watched Joe Rogan's #1, like the first podcast he ever had.
Right.
Have you seen that shit?
I haven't actually watched the first one, to be completely honest with you.
Bro, I was literally like mind blown to where he has come
progress.
from.
I've seen a lot of the No Jumper. Like I saw a lot of the earlier No Jumper podcast, and seeing their progress is still pretty crazy too. Like Adam 22 has made an insane progression throughout his, but
yeah.
I mean, a lot of people like I don't know. Like I had people start conversations with me being negative already, and I've had so many people come to me with negative like things about what I'm trying to do, and I don't really understand that because I don't have any negative intentions. So I don't understand how you can come to me and tell me that I'm doing something wrong. But I've had people come to me and saying like, you don't do this right, or this person's doing this and that and that, and they started from somewhere too. They started with hate. Like nobody didn't ever get any hate from something. And I'm not going to say that I'm going to be the best thing ever, but I just really legitimately want to do and make a difference somehow. And I want to find different ways to do that, and connecting with people and talking to people and finding out different problems that I didn't know about on the planet, finding different things that I didn't know were problems before, and finding solutions to those together is going to be a way that I can make a difference. So I'd like to break that down, and I'd like to sit down here and talk to you about this. I'm sure there's some shit that we've talked about it that people are like, yeah, everybody says that. But there's also some things that we may have said that like somebody had never heard before. And that one thing could change somebody's life. So I think that that's really important to get out and maybe develop or show people that this sense of connection is really good for you, because it really is. And having people that are willing to sit down and not necessarily care about being judged or anything like that is a bad thing. But I mean, I got to get more people that are willing to sit down and talk and be willing to get out there and put themselves out there a little bit more. And I mean, I notice that's kind of hard, but I mean, if I can do it, if I can show somebody else that I can do it, hopefully somebody else can see that I've done it and they're willing to try it too, maybe.
Exactly. It's all about showing people. That's why I always like post stuff on Snapchat, you know what I mean? Like on Instagram.
Right.
All these like motivational little snippets and stuff like that, so people can see that it's possible. Because a lot of these people, they don't even know what's possible. I ask them what their goals are, and they're looking at me like, I don't know. Like, what do you want to be in life?
Here, you asked me earlier. I never answered it. Let me tell you really fast what my goal is with this, what I legitimately want to do, and how I'm going to go about doing this. Because you said it earlier, and I don't think I ever really legitimately told you exactly what I wanted to do. But my goal in life is literally the one thing that I want to do is to be able to provide people like myself with a comfortable option, something that they can go and like get comfortable with themselves and learn themselves. Like maybe it's after high school, so maybe I can do it in a way that it's just a program where people can come after high school, where they get to join in with a group of people, and similar to a college, but everybody can just learn on their own, and everybody can take their own time to figure out really what they want to accomplish in life, and not have to worry about the outside influences or worry about going and finding a paycheck immediately if they can't, because some people get put in that too, where they have to make things work. And there's a couple points where I had to make things work, and I got lucky enough just by asking for help to receive help. So I put myself out there, asked for help when I needed it, and I was able to receive help. just by being honest with people and being straightforward and showing them that I'm a human too. And people can relate to that. So if I can show that, or if this guy can see that he needs help and he wants to come into this program or this building, or even if it's my own home, even if I open up my own home to people, I'm willing to do that, to where you can come. If you don't have anywhere else to go, let me set up a plan, or let us sit down and like talk about a plan, and let's legitimately figure out what you want in life. And people do that as a job, but they're like therapists and they make a lot of money and they don't really care about legitimately giving you an outcome. I'm not
they don't give you an outcome.
Like, I don't see any way. I'm not doing it for money. I would rather spend, like, I mean, maybe, I think I have less than $1,000 a month in legitimate bills. Like, I have to go out. So, I mean, I can make $1,000 in a month and spend the rest of my time just giving back and just providing people with the ability to get out and talk. And, like, I mean, making $1,000 a month is nothing. Like, you can easily do that just by walking dogs or delivering food or Uber or something like that. And then you can chase your dreams while you're doing that. And people don't really think of it that way. You just think you have to get out and do these things. But if I can provide a place for people to turn to whenever they need help, and take the time to sit back and think about themselves and figure out what they want for themselves, if I can give that to people, then that person might be able to give back to me one day, or that person might be able to give back to everyone enough to change the world. I can make that happen just by giving somebody else the comfort and the understanding that it's okay to be different than everybody else. Because, I mean, in high school, I used to I remember like sitting in the shower after somebody would like argue with me, or my mom would get mad at me about something. I remember sitting in the shower and I would just talk to myself in the shower, because I was so upset that she wouldn't listen to things from my perspective, that I would just sit there and I would just say exactly what I wanted to over and over and over again. And then I would just like build this conversation up, and then it would never happen. But I was too scared to have that conversation with her to begin with, when I could just legitimately, I could have just been like, hey, can we like sit down and talk about this? But I was too scared to like show her that I understood the situation, and I was just too scared. And that's a lot of the problems that I've encountered in my life. It's just come from being too scared to do something, or too scared of how other people are going to think of me. And I've
gotta smack it out the way.
I've been wanting to make a YouTube channel for years. If you look back on my other channels, like I have videos and stuff from years and years ago where I just like randomly would post something that I like to do, and I posted it because I just thought it was fun. But I never consistently did it because I was too scared of like other people seeing them and other people judging me. But I would always just post it for myself so I could go back and like watch it a little bit. But I was too scared to like let other people know and try and show other people like, hey man, kind of watch this. But now I'm like, you know what? I mean, I might as well put myself out there. If there's a lot of people that don't like me for something, like I would like to be able to talk to somebody and like,
you just gotta be yourself, homie.
Yeah, I would like to figure out why somebody doesn't like me. I don't want anybody to not like me or not like something that I'm doing, because I want to have.
Don't get me wrong, bro, but there's gonna be hella people that's not gonna like you. There's gonna be hate and there's gonna be love. What you gotta understand is like it doesn't matter, you know what I mean?
I legitimately, I don't want to look at it from that point of view. I want to bring it from a point of view where if there's somebody that's just talking shit to talk shit, like I want to ask them. I want to figure out why they are actually doing that, because
the only reason they're doing it is because they don't understand you or your point.
Exactly. And then I want to explain to them my point, because they're too scared to ask about it. They want to just be blatant and say, well, that's stupid, because I'm too scared to understand where you're coming from. I want to sit there and I want to give them what they're not giving me. So my first video, I had 6 comments, just negative. I had one person that commented on 2 comments in a positive way, replying to people. And that's awesome. If somebody else can do that, have the balls to say something like, hey, this is what he meant. That's awesome. So he did that, but I deleted all those comments. And then I had a couple people that said something on me deleting those comments, but I deleted those comments and then immediately messaged the people directly. I don't know how to use YouTube in that way, and I don't really like everything. Like I don't really like the comments and stuff back and forth. I'd rather talk to people directly. So I messaged those people directly, and I talked to them, and I said, hey, man, like, why do you think that? And there's a couple people that were just saying things like, well, I mean, you're just trying to do this and this and this. I was like, nah, I never said any of that. Let me explain to you what I'm actually trying to do. And then those people all took a step back, and they were all kind of like, oh. But I felt like it's necessary for me to give them that time of day. It's necessary for me to show them the respect of saying, like, hey, man, why do you actually think that? Like, is there something that I should change to, like, make myself better? And I'm willing to accept that as a person. And I hope that that is something that people can resonate with, and something that people, like, maybe they find that something different, and that fact that maybe I will pay a little bit too much attention to hate comments. But as long as I'm doing it, and as long as I can show somebody else that maybe there's somebody else going to hate you for no reason, but figure out why, and like figure out these things. And if somebody wants to make a negative comment, I'd rather them come in here and make a negative comment to me, so I can talk about it and make it.
Right now, it's just easy for you.
Once
you have like millions of people following, you're gonna be sitting there like, well, I can spend my day answering all this hate, or I can go and impact all the positive. You know what I mean? Because what happens to people after a while, once they hate enough, they're like, all right, what if I change? You know, because eventually, like, they're going through all this stuff, and they're obviously seeing their friends are starting to catch on. You know, their friends are starting to catch on. You know, everybody's starting to go in this positive aspect that you're bringing out. You know, eventually they're gonna be like, all right, maybe I'll listen. The people that don't want to listen and don't want to learn, you can sit there and tell them all day long. I don't know if you've met those people yet,
but those people are also people that haven't had anybody question them, or haven't had.
I think you just haven't been to LA yet.
So I would. Well, I understand that too. I understand. I know there's always going to be an exception where somebody is just too stubborn. There's always
dude. It's so bad.
But there's also the exception where people just, they're uncomfortable and they just talk shit just to talk shit, or they'll say something just to say something when it's maybe not actually how they feel. Maybe they're only saying that because they're friends with somebody that doesn't like you for some weird reason. They just bandwagon to that. They don't actually know you. So I want people to actually know me and kind of like get to know my intentions, or get to know certain things about me. And I think that I deserve to give them the opportunity. I shouldn't just say, he made a hateful comment to me, I don't like that guy, I'm just going to delete it or whatever. I need to give that guy the attention and say, hey, like, what's up? Like, you actually hate me, or are you just trying to be funny? Like, what is actually going on here? Because a lot of people, they'll just say something to be funny. And if that's your prerogative, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to hate on you for that. If you want to be funny and that's your sense of humor, then just go for it. Like, that's not a big deal to me. Like, that's cool. But you just have to be, you have to be around people that are going to think the same way. And you don't have to, like, essentially, you don't have to, like, just bring that to somebody that maybe doesn't like that. Maybe just keep it to yourself, I guess. I don't know. Some people aren't going to do it either way. But I want to talk about it. I want to figure out what's actually going on with people.
Word.
I want to learn. I am a person that I've always needed an outside perspective to kind of help myself with decisions, not in a way that I don't say need it. I've never needed it, but I've always wanted somebody to tell me when I'm doing something wrong, because I'll listen. Like, I'm totally okay with listening. If you want to tell me that I'm doing something wrong, I want to figure out what I'm doing wrong and how to change it to make it better. So I'm going to comment back. I'm going to say, like, hey, why do you think that legitimately? Or, hey, can we talk about that a little bit? Or maybe there's one guy that he wants to come in and now he wants to talk to me. A second ago, like, before I mentioned anything to him, he hated me. He didn't want anything to do with me. But then I talked to him. I kind of explained things a little bit. And now he's willing to come in here and he's willing to sit down and have a conversation with me and actually talk about things. And that's huge to me, because I want to have a better relationship with everybody, because I've ruined so many relationships for no reason. So I want to make things better with people that maybe wouldn't normally get the chance. So I don't know. There's a lot of differences in people, but we're all people. So we all have one common thing. Why can't we just find something else common? We're all unique, yes, but we're all similar. So we need to find common ground.
More than just similar.
Everybody really does have common ground.
What if I told you we are all one, and you're just like what you are to me is just what I've made you to be. So if I thought of, like, your perception of people is what you make them. You know what I mean? You make that perception in people. If you think somebody is happy,
everything that exists in your mind has been created in your mind, and that's what people don't really realize. Like, the way that you see something isn't the way that somebody else is going to see something, because that shit happens up here, not in somebody else's. Your perception comes from in your own head. So why are you going to, like, to me, you only get one life. So why would you want to experience one life? Like, I want to experience as many lives as possible, and I want to see things from your point of view, and I want to see how to do this, and I want to know how it is to have this. I don't think there's certain things, like, I want that kind of stuff. And
this fucking footage is gold, bro.
I hope so. I hope somebody can. I hope somebody can resonate with something, and that's all I care about.
Dude, when we save this video and upload it on all these platforms, I bet you, I'll give you a time date. In a year, this video right here will be fucking like trending on YouTube because a year ago we were sitting here and busting out what next year there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of more people trying to do because they've seen us do it. Right. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, oh, I can sit there with my homie and talk.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too, I wanted to bring up. I had multiple people come and say, like, oh, it's such a competitive market. It's such a hard market. And they're looking at, to me, I didn't approach this whole YouTube idea from a business perspective. I'm not uploading stuff on YouTube to make money. YouTube is going to be my platform to show the world that I want to make a difference. So I'm going to use myself as my own business. I'm going to buy an LLC and invest in this as a business in a different perspective than it's going to make me money from YouTube. I want to make, I can use it in a different way than just to like be a productive business on YouTube. YouTube is something that's so huge, but it's so new that if you think that it's too late already, like there's all kinds of big YouTubers right now, but they have to go somewhere. They cannot continue doing it forever. There's going to be the next generation of everybody else. So, I mean, it's going to be something that's going to be a part of daily life from now on. YouTube and Google are going to be huge. They're going to control YouTube, Google, Facebook. Those things are going to control everything you see on the internet very soon. So everything that most people are going to be doing on a daily basis isn't going to be cable anymore. People are slowly transitioning away from that. So the main sources of entertainment are going to be YouTube, Facebook, Google, just random. Those companies that are all owned together, of course, they're going to.
Once YouTube gets some movies, I'm done with Netflix.
Right. They're going to monopolize the internet, and then, but at the same time, that's helpful. It's something that you can work with. But you just have to find a way to work with it and just go, like, just make progress. And that's the big thing is people aren't willing to make progress. People get comfortable and they get caught up in their own lives and they're just worried about themselves. And every human's selfish. Yes, everybody wants to be selfish, but I'm getting a countdown for time remaining, so I'm about to get kicked off, it looks like. You still there, buddy?
You said you got countdown for what?
All right, you back now? There's a countdown going on right now. It says 1:30 remaining. I don't know what that's for.
Oh, I hate this. Okay.
You still there?
Yeah.
All right. If this countdown kicks us off, do you want to jump over onto yours and we can talk a little bit more on yours because you might have more people to watch on yours.
Yep. Thing is, I still haven't, bro. Like, it's 3 o'clock, 8 p.m. I still haven't eaten. This is how hardcore I work.
Dude,
bro.
go do it. Go do it, bro.
Woke up, for real. Hustle, business, live, more business.
Oh, yeah.
More hustle, more live, no food. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
You got to save this video. We're going to upload it. Yeah, save this video. As soon as I eat, I'm going to hit you back, and then we're going to pop back on. Tell all your viewers, y'all viewers, tell your friends and y'all viewers to hop on and get the shit going. You know, we're talking some legit facts over here. This isn't going to be no, like we're talking facts and trying to help you guys get on better level. Not just, like, our level, but, like, your better level. Like, be the best version you can be. That's all it is about. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But,
preach it, man. We'll catch back up here in a second, buddy.
Huh?
We'll catch back up here in a second.